There's a free and easy way not only to create your perfect daily planner, but to generate thousands in passive income from it as well. Here's how it works. Open up a free Canva account, design your perfect planner from scratch or by using one of their pre-designed templates, download your print-ready file, then upload your design to Amazon's Kindle Direct publishing platform, also for free, and your new planner will be available for sale within 72 hours. So let's get right into the tutorial, starting at step number 1.
Firstly, you want to head over to canva.com and set up a free account. And before you get going, you want to know what type of a planner that you want to create and the sections that you want to include. For me, I'm going to be creating a daily planner with some weekly planner pages as well. And before you get going, you want to decide on a size. And if you plan on selling your planner on KDP, you want to make sure you create your planner in a size that KDP offers. You can head over to the KDP help section to check out the different available trim sizes in paperback and in hardcover. 6x9 is a fairly common size for planners, and that's the size that I'm going to be using. Once you know the size you're going to use, you'll click on the Create a Design button. Make sure the units are in inches, and then enter the size of your planner. From here, you'll set up your margins. When you create your document, you'll see that Canva actually provides you with a built-in margin that unfortunately cannot be adjusted. And if you can't see the margin, you'll go to File, Settings, and make sure that Show Margins is checked. Now, if you're selling your book on KDP, you'll want to make sure that you're setting up the correct margins according to how many pages are going to be in your book. So going back to KDP's help pages, you can check out the margin requirements for the size of book that you'd like to create. My daily planner is going to be a 12-week planner. So mine is going to have 12 weekly pages plus 84 daily pages, which is 7 days per week, plus a title page and a copyright page, and that is going to give me a total of 98 pages. So for my book, I'm going to look at the 24 to 150 pages page count. So I can see that I need at least a 0.375 inch inside margin and at least a 0.25 inch outside margin if I don't have a bleed, and we'll talk about a bleed in just a second. And if I do want to bleed, I'm going to need at least a 0.375 inch outside margin. Now, I actually prefer a bigger margin because it just allows the layout to feel a little bit more roomy and spacious. So I'm actually going to keep this where this is. But if you do want to adjust your margins, you can easily do so by dragging out rulers. So I like to zoom in a little bit, and a shortcut to do that is pressing Command and the plus sign if you're on a Mac, and Control plus if you're on a PC. Then you can come over to your left ruler and just click and drag to your desired position. And you can do this on all 4 sides. And if you ever want to make these guides go away so that you can see your layout without the guides, you'll just go back up to File, Settings, and then check off Show Rulers and Guides. Next is Bleed, and it's up to you whether or not you want to include a bleed in your document. You only need to include a bleed if you want any text, images, or other design elements to extend to the edge of the page. All book covers require a bleed, but not all book interiors do. I don't plan on having any images run all the way to the edge of my page in this planner, so I'm not going to include one. But if you have design elements in your planner that you would like to see extended all the way to the edge of the page, you will leave the bleed on. I'm going to go to File, Settings, and uncheck Show Print Bleed because I don't plan on using one. Now your document is set up and you're ready to start designing. You can design your planner from scratch using any of the elements that you find in this left-hand menu here, or you can click on Design and check out their pre-made templates. I'm going to search for a daily planner template from their existing designs. Canva has dozens of options, some of them free and some of them paid. You'll know that you need to pay for it if you see the little crown icon in the corner. I'm going to go with this free option here, and once you've chosen an option, you can make some customizations. The first thing I'm going to do is just remove this daily planner. I don't think this needs to be included on every single page. We know it's a daily planner, so I'm going to get rid of that. I do like the idea of having this quote, but I'd like to make a couple of adjustments here. So I'm going to make this bigger so that it fills up the whole top of the page, and I'm going to give it a different font. You can click on the font up top and all of your font options will show up on the left. I'm going to choose Playfair Display for this one. I'm going to make it italic, And I think I'm going to reduce the size a little bit as well. I'd also like to center it on the page. So I can click on alignment here to do that. Next, I'm going to customize the layout a little bit more. The first thing I'm going to do is double check the sizes of the fonts. So clicking on this first piece of text, I can see that the font size is only 6.4. That's really small. Generally, I don't like going lower than 7-point text because that's going to become illegible at this size, especially for people like me who are in their mid-40s and starting to lose their eyesight. So I am just going to bump that up a bit, probably to about 8.4 or maybe even just 8. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of the rest of the text on this page. Next, I'm going to rearrange some of these design elements because I don't love everything that's been included in this layout. I don't think it's necessary to have these colored boxes behind every alternating day of the week here, so I'm going to remove that. So I'm going to click on the first letter, and then I'm going to go up to this color, which is indicating the color of the background, and I'm going to turn that off and go ahead and do that on all of the rest of them as well. Next, I'm going to shift the entire design up a little bit to give me a little bit more room on the bottom. I don't like the dotted lines here, so I'm going to remove those and just add plain straight lines. Now, if I want, I can go over to the element section over here, and I can find myself a line to use, but we've already got a whole bunch on this page, so I'm just going to duplicate what's already here. I'll click on one, I'm going to press Option and Shift, and then I'm going to drag that over. That's going to allow me to copy the line, and holding Shift down allows me to drag it over in an exact straight line. Now it's a little bit long, so I'm just going to grab the end, and I'm going to keep holding the Shift key to keep it perfectly horizontal and drag it out to my desired length. And then again, I'll click on it, I'll hold Option to copy and Shift so that I drag it in a perfect vertical line. And I'm going to make sure that it is perfectly aligned with the line to the left. And you can see that it is from that dotted purple line. And then I'm going to let go, and I'm going to do that one more time to get the third line here. And I can see with this little purple pop-up that the spacing between all three lines is perfect. I don't want this reminder box here, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I don't want the For Tomorrow box here either, so I'll get rid of that as well. I do like the daily affirmations, but I'd like to see one of these boxes behind it. So again, I'm just going to select the box, hold Option and Shift, and I'm going to drag it down. Then I'll grab this whole section and just drag it up to where I would like to see it. And again, I'm paying attention just to make sure that the lines are perfectly horizontally aligned, just so that the layout is as pleasing as it can be. And rather than affirmations, I think I'd like to turn this into a gratitude section. And I'll add one more line as well. I'd also like a section for a daily win. So again, I'm going to grab the entire section and then just move it down. Again, I'm holding Option and Shift, and then I'll release it. Now, I don't like to schedule out and time block my entire day, only my work day in general. So I'm only going to include the time blocking up to about 6 o'clock. So I'm going to get rid of all of these lines here because I'd like to expand the notes section, because I like to take a lot of notes. Now I think I'd like to add some sort of a little design element, maybe a border or something like that. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand menu, click on Elements. You can either scroll down all of the options here, or you can search for exactly what you're looking for. So I'm going to search for border, and then I'll just scroll down, see what's available. You can also use this arrow here to see the different options. I'm going to choose something very simple here. I'm just going to go with this line with the circles at the ends of the line. And I think I'm going to put one at the bottom and at the top, and I'm going to adjust the size because that's way too thick. So clicking on these three lines here, this will allow you to adjust the size of the line weight. I'm going to see what 1 looks like, and maybe I'll go for number 2. I think I'd also like to see that in more of a gray rather than a black, just so that it doesn't stand out quite so much. So I'll click on line color up at the top, and I'll see what this lighter gray looks like. Okay, I think I like that a little bit better. Then I'll do the Option, Shift, and drag so that I can copy it and move a second one up to the top. And then I'm going to grab everything on my page and just use my arrow key to move it down a little bit so that it's centered in between those 2 borders. Now the final thing I'm going to do here is to remove the color. Now of course you're welcome to create a daily planner in color, but just keep in mind when you choose a full color interior, your print cost goes up, so you end up having to sell your planner at a higher price. So normally I like to make sure that all of my interiors are black and white to keep the print cost down. I can see that there's kind of a beige background here, so I'm just going to click on it and delete it. And then I'm going to choose one of these colored boxes here. I'm going to click on the color, and I'm going to use that same gray that I used for the border that I just put at the top of the bottom. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go down to this change all button, and it's going to change all of those colored boxes for me all at once. Now that's actually looking a little bit too dark for me, so I think I'm going to go one shade lighter, and again click change all, and that looks quite a bit better. Now before I move on, I'm going to uncheck the margin just so I can see what the page is going to look like without the margin. So File, Settings, uncheck Show Margins, and now my daily page is ready. Now that I'm done with my daily pages, I'm going to design my weekly pages. Now, if I wanted, I could go back over to the Design tab here, and I could do a search for a weekly planner template, and then I could customize that using the same fonts that I've used on the daily pages so that it looks cohesive. But I think what I'm going to do is just duplicate my daily page and just use what I've got here and rearrange that instead. So I'm going to go down to page 1. I'm going to click on the 3 dots, and then I'll choose duplicate page. Now, all I'm really going to do here is rearrange these elements into the layout that I want for my weekly design. Now that both my weekly page and my daily page is ready, I'm going to duplicate them the amount of times that I need by going down here, and I'm going to click on those 3 dotted lines again, and I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to do that as many times as I need for each of these pages. And to make the process faster, you can use this shortcut, Command D. Now that I've duplicated all of the pages, I'm going to add 2 more pages, my title page and my copyright page. So I'll go all the way back to page number 1, click on those 3 dotted lines. I'm going to add a page, then I'll drag that over to the left so it's at the beginning. This is going to be my title page. Now to add text, you can go over to the left-hand side here, click on text. You can either choose to add a heading, add a subheading, body text. There's also all of these really great font combinations. So if you're someone that design really isn't your strong suit, and you don't really know how to combine fonts, these pre-combined fonts can be great. Now I'm just going to grab some text from one of my other pages here just to keep it consistent. I'm going to copy that. So I'm going to click Command C. I'm going to go back to page 1, Command V. That's going to paste the text. And I am just going to add my own text here. I'm going to drag that down to about 2/3 just so that it's not floating at the top of my page there. And I think for some visual interest, I'm going to go and I'm going to grab this other style of text as well. I'd like a little bit more space between the letters, so I'm going to go up to the line spacing option here, and just by dragging this, you can see you can add or decrease the space between the letters. And then I think I'm going to grab my border as well, just for some consistency. Again, I'm just going to copy and paste that, and I think I'll make that a little bit smaller just by dragging it in a bit. Make sure it is centered. Now I'll probably tweak this a little bit more, but I'm going to leave it as is for now. And then I'm going to add one more page, which is going to be my copyright page. This is where you can add your name, your publishing company if you've got one, your copyright info. So I'm just going to go to text here. I'm going to use the body text because that's going to be a bit smaller. I'm just going to drag this down here, go up to my alignment tool and make sure that that's aligned left. The copyright symbol is Option G on a Mac and it's Control Alt C on a PC. I'm going to make sure that's the same font that I've used throughout, and I'll make that smaller, probably around 7 or 8 points. It really doesn't have to be very big, and I'll just drag that over here. So this is going to be the back side of this title page here, and then The official first page is going to be this first weekly plan. Next, we're going to export the document into a print-ready file. So you'll go up here, you'll click Share, Download, and then you want to choose PDF Print. If you've got a bleed, you'll want to include that here. Now, if you have a pro account, then it's best to choose CMYK. But fortunately, if you're printing with KDP, you can actually submit your files in RGB, and they're going to convert that for you on their end. So this is totally fine. Then we'll click Download. Open up your file and make sure everything looks good. Now, before you actually submit this for print, you want to print this at home if possible, because it can be really misleading when you're seeing something on a screen as opposed to actually holding a printed copy of something in your hand. So I always recommend you don't have to print the entire thing, but at least print a couple of your main pages, just so that you can see what it actually looks like in print. 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to make some sort of a tweak before you send it to the printer. Once you're happy with this file, it's time to move on to your cover design. Go to KDP's cover calculator, and then you'll select either hardcover or paperback, black and white, white paper, left to right, inches, and your trim size, and finally the number of pages. Then you'll click Calculate Directions and download your template. Next, you'll open up your template so that you can see the overall dimensions that you're going to need to create your new cover file. So the overall dimensions for this template is 12.471 inches by 9.250 inches. So now we'll go back to Canva and we'll enter in those exact dimensions. Now, all KDP covers include a bleed, but this template includes the bleed in the dimensions, so we don't actually need to add a bleed to the document. Now, I'm actually going to use one of Canva's templates to create my cover. As you can see from this left-hand menu here, it's showing me horizontal layout designs, which I don't want. Because remember, this template includes the front cover and the back cover and the spine. If that's okay, there's a quick little workaround here that we're going to do. So we'll click into the menu here, we'll create a new design with our dimensions, which was 6 by 9. We'll create a new design, click on Elements, click on Design, and then do a search for Daily Planner Cover. Again, there are a lot of different options here, both free and paid. I'm going to choose this option. Now, in order to bring this over to our actual cover design, all I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the elements on this page, and I'm going to copy. That's a quick Command-C. Then I'm going to go back to the original cover file and then Command-V to paste. Now the background we'll have to add separately, but we've got all of our design elements here. But before we keep going, I want to bring in the cover design template from KDP. So I'm going to go to Uploads, Upload File, and then I'll choose the KDP template. I've already uploaded it, so I'm just going to click on that. And then I'm going to drag it out to the right size. Now I want to turn down the opacity so that I can see what's underneath. So I'm going to click on the transparency button here, and I'm going to dial that back just enough so that I can still see where everything needs to go, but it's not going to hinder me moving around the other design elements. So I've got it at about 12 here. I think that's good enough. And then I'm going to lock it so that it doesn't move. Now I'm going to be free to move around my design elements, and I'm going to know where the front cover is, the back cover is, and the spine. And remember, covers have a bleed, so you really want to zoom in to the 4 corners and make sure that all of these design elements do actually go all the way to the bleed. I'm going to add my background color here because that didn't come along with the template that I took from the other file. And then I need to make sure that it's pushed all the way to the back. So I'm going to click on Position and I'm going to send it to the very back. I'm also going to lock that so that I can't move it accidentally. One thing to note when working with the cover, you do need to make sure that there's no important elements covering up this barcode here, because the barcode is going to sit on top. So you want to make sure that nothing important that you're including is going to wind up accidentally behind that barcode. So I'm just going to finish up rearranging things here, and then we'll be ready to export. Now I'm going to click on Position so that I can show all of my layers here. I'm going to find my template. I'm going to unlock it, and then I'm going to turn the transparency right down so I can have a look at my daily planner without the template. Now, once I'm happy with this, I'm going to completely get rid of that planner template. And I'm just going to click on these three dots and I'm going to delete the template because we do not want to upload with the template. Then I'll go to Share, Download, PDF Print. We don't need to include crop marks and bleed because it's already built into the dimensions of this file. And again, if you have Pro, I would recommend downloading the CMYK, but if you're uploading it to Amazon, that's fine. They will do that conversion for you, so you can leave it as RGB and then you'll download. Then you can open up your file and take a look. And again, you will want to print this off at home if possible, because you really want to make sure that it is going to print as intended. Next up, if you'd like to sell your planner, head over to the Kindle Direct Publishing website at kdp.amazon.com and click on Join KDP. Once you're in and you've set up your account, you'll click Create, choose paperback or hardcover. You'll fill out all of the details like your book title, your author name, your book description, and all of the other details. Then you'll choose your print options. In this case, it's black and white interior, 6x9 trim size with no bleed, and I'd like a matte cover finish. Next, you'll upload the files that you just created in Canva. Then you'll upload your cover file. Once you've clicked through and made sure that everything looks as it should, you can click Approve. From there, you'll move on to the next stage, which is pricing. Adjust your prices for all of the various marketplaces. When you're done, you'll hit Publish, and your new daily planner will be available for sale within 72 hours.
If you're ready to start generating passive income from the beautiful planners that you create, learn how with my free guide, 3 Steps to Publishing Your First Low-Content Book in Less Than a Day, down in the description below. Watch this video next to find out how to turn one self-published book into a 6-figure empire. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.